It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street one day.
Welcome in. You know, I'm always amazed. These guys get a lot of money to be coaches, right? Some guys making $12 million to be a coach. And yet, I've seen not just college ranks. I saw last night Nathaniel Hackett, Denver Broncos head coach, first year there. I saw him absolutely mismanage the end of the game. It was not a well-coached team, that Denver team. I felt bad for Russell Wilson a little bit. I mean, 12 penalties in that game, mismanaged the end of the game with time, not using your timeouts. You had all three. Settling on a 64-yard field goal, even though he did have the distance and he missed it twice going wide, but he had the distance.
After a practice kick, too, with the leg. I couldn't believe he missed the second one.
I thought he was going to make it, too. But let me ask you something. You just paid a quarterback $265 million. It's a 4th and 5 or a 64-yard field goal. You've got 2 timeouts remaining. You actually had 3 till you totally blew it. Are you going with a 64-yard hope and a prayer, or are you going to try to pick up a first down with your $265 million man? Crazy.
Hackett's the offensive coach, too. He's the one calling the plays, and he was like, I just didn't like that situation. I didn't think we had a play to get the yardage. I was more confident that we could get a field goal than get the first down.
64 yards?
64 yards. It's just crazy. And the timeout,
and I think his career long is 58.
That's right. It would have been a career long.
So that's 6 yards longer than your career, even though he does have the leg, because it wasn't a distance problem. It was an accuracy problem. But 64 yards away, you got to kick it so hard, it's hard to be accurate.
And then the time, also, Nathaniel Hackett calling plays last night, might be a little bit too much for a head. I know it's his first time head coach and he is comfortable calling offense, but there's a reason why a lot of coaches don't do that. It's a lot of things going on when you're a head coach, way more than just being worried about the offense. And the timeouts, letting the play clock dip down to 0 before you call that timeout with under a minute left in the game, one of the most baffling decisions I think I've ever seen in a football game.
That's crazy. I'm with you. When you're inside the 10-yard line 3 times and you get 3 points, you have 12 penalties, some of that has to be coaching. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Hackett, Pete Carroll in Seattle, that I thought could be the worst team in the NFL. They win last night on Monday Night Football. Geno Smith. Who would have thought coming into this year Geno Smith would be a story after week 1? And Did you see what he said after the game?
What he said? He didn't. His haters called him, but he didn't answer or something like that.
He said they wrote me off.
That's right, but he didn't write back.
But I didn't write back. I thought that was the best line of the week. They wrote me off, but I didn't write back. It's kind of weird to see Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on ESPN, isn't it?
I forgot they were there until after the game. I'm watching the post game on Scott Van Pelt show because I was watching the Manning cast, and then I saw them. I'm like, oh my God, these guys work for ESPN. Well, you're right. It was jarring to see them.
How was the Manning cast? Now they got Buck and Aikman. I'm not going to watch the Manning cast. That's the funny thing, too, for me, is that you would think with the money that they've paid and invested in Aikman and Buck, why would you go up against your own big product? And I do think, like, as good as the Mannings are, and I'm certainly not putting them down, but I think they got, I want to say 10 or 12% of the watchers last year that watched Monday Night Football. They were watching Steve Levy and those guys. And my only question for Espen, and they're pretty smart, but why would you try to erode away your top now that you got the product that you've invested in for the next how many years and a lot of money, why would you try to eat into that?
I think it's because they have this. It's like the advertisers buy time on every broadcast at the same time because they all go to commercial at the same time,
Right.
all those things. So I think it's
I think
kind
they
of
have the same commercials,
exactly. So it's a sneaky way to maybe inflate. I don't know if it actually inflates the number of people watching, but maybe if it does, a sneaky way to inflate the numbers of people watching.
Well, I would just assume that the 1.5 million or how many are watching the Mannings would be watching Joe Buck. So
For the next 2 weeks, they have to. They're off the next 2 weeks, so everyone's going to be
yeah,
back
you
to
know what
Manning
they're
and
doing
Aikman.
next week?
What's that?
Next week is a doubleheader. But the doubleheader is not the normal ESPN Monday night doubleheader. It's not like a game at 6 o'clock followed by a game at 9:15. This is Memphis time, I'm pretty sure. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff for the first game, and then it's an 8:15 or 8:30 kickoff, maybe 7 at 8:15, whatever it is, something like that. They're separated by about an hour and 15 minutes. One will be on ABC, the other will be on ESPN.
6:15 kickoff for Titans and Buffalo. Game 2, that's our time, 6:15. 7:30 kickoff for Game 2 for Vikings and Philadelphia.
So an hour and 15 minutes.
Hour and 15 minutes.
And I don't know, I can't remember which one Buck and Aikman are doing. Levy's doing the other.
Mm-hmm.
And the first game will be on which game is on ESPN, which game is on ABC?
The first Titans and Buffalo is on ESPN. That has Levy and RG3, and then the second one is the 7:30 Vikings and Philadelphia.
RG3's pretty good, by the way.
He raced an eagle last night. It was awesome. He won barely, but the eagle led up at the end. Or Falcon, not an eagle.
Yeah.
Or Seahawk, I guess, a hawk.
A Seahawk, yeah. I like him. I didn't think I'd like him, but I like him.
His enthusiasm is infectious.
Yeah. I got a question for you. You're more of a tech guy, and we should point out Tim Doolin's going to join us. That Major League Baseball record of 8 straight games. You know who's at 7 now, don't you? 7 straight games for Mike Trout. He's hit a home run in 7 straight games. 3 guys have hit home runs in 8 straight games. The first guy to do it was a Pittsburgh Pirate in 1956. You never heard of him, Dale Long. The other 2 that have done it, you've heard of. Don Mattingly and Ken Griffey Jr. So we'll see what he thinks about all that. And Albert, and I got to tell you something, and we'll talk about him. Historic is what's going on with the Dodgers and their run differential this year. So we got plenty of stuff to talk about with Tim. Jeff Moore, more on the NFL with him coming. And then Jason Munz. They came out, I guess it was yesterday or today, John Rothstein did, with the field from Maui in 2024. That is going to be fun. We'll talk with Munzie about that, Penny speech, and a whole lot more. Last thing for you real quick. And I guess we got to learn this stuff because it is the way of the world. But yesterday, Laird Veach announced at a press conference right before Ryan Silverfield. What an opportunity, by the way, the Tigers have for the next 4 straight games at home. And they should be 4-1 when they play the league favorite Houston. And I think Houston is gettable. But we'll see as time goes on that. But everything is going to be digital with tickets and parking passes and everything like that for Tiger Hoops, Tiger Football, which obviously starts on Saturday. They said, and Laird said, really it's more customer friendly. I don't know. I had to have help to get my parking passes. I've learned how to do it now, sending stuff to my wallet, like with other things that we've had, airplanes and things like that. But I got to be honest with you. I don't know that it's more customer friendly. Maybe once we all learn the technology, it will. But right now, it's anxiety. You got to figure it out.
And those scanners on the phones don't always work correctly. You got a little crack on the phone.
Please don't tell me that. And the other thing is, I used to hang a parking pass, right? So they could see from a mile away, okay, let them in. Now I'm going to have to show a phone. It's going to take longer. I don't see how this is quicker.
The Grizzlies garage is always backed up because you got to show them your parking pass ticket. You're absolutely right about that.
The Grizzlies are the ones that started this all. The Tigers are following the Grizzlies in digital only, scaring away old people like me. Anyway, we'll all learn that is the truth. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, and I got to remind you, we've gone from the absolute great summer sale to the largest spa sale in history. Yeah, It really is. It's incredible. Up to 30% off in-stock spas, huge discounts on the swim spas, special financing available. All you got to do is get there. I-40 and Whidden Road. And this portion of the show brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Okay. Did you feel how cool it was this morning? It was really cool, right? Really cool.
Wearing a sweatshirt.
No doubt about how cool it was. So you better start thinking about your heater. And they got a $49 special with a carbon monoxide check and everything else. So do yourself a favor. Get that tune-up, that 16-point Energy Saver Super tune-up. You'll feel better about sleeping at night knowing there's no carbon monoxide leak. And it's $49 on the early bird special, 384-3511. And we're going to talk baseball here with our good friend Tim Doolin in a second, and he's brought to you by a guy who admired Tim from afar for a long time. It's the Eflin Insurance Group. Big Tiger fans, there's no question about it. They even have it in their phone. How more Tigery can you be than that? I mean, that is really cool. That number, by the way, is 901-386-GRR for Tigers 4777. Here's what Matt does. He does protection for you through insurance a different kind of way. He gets to know you. It's called collaboration. And that's good for home. It's good for your auto. It's good for life insurance. If you got a small to mid-sized business, they are specialists in commercial for small to mid-sized. And they do it the same way. They'll find out about your assets, how you forecasted it out, what your budget is, and then they find the right protection. That's the Eflin Insurance Group. Tim Doolin joins us now. Last night, Mike Trout, 7 games in a row, he's hit a home run. So you're going to get to 8 and match Dale Long, Don Mattingly, and Ken Griffey Jr.?
If they pitch to him, I don't know that I'd keep pitching to the guy. I'd intentionally walk him. What I'd do. I wouldn't let him keep doing it. But I tell you, we talk about this all the time, and the saying is he's in a tree, which means he's in another stratosphere. The ball looks like a beach ball. He's in probably one of the biggest trees all year of anybody. Second to Judge putting up the numbers that he has, but Mike Trout is such a consummate professional. His work ethic, he's so compact and strong that there really is not a lot of extra movement that gets him into a prolonged kind of a funk, so to speak. And so he just, if he's not, he's one of the top 3 players in the game today, and there's no doubt he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame.
No question. And I feel bad. He hasn't really won. He's never had any kind of postseason magnifying glass on him where he really could become an even bigger star and a bigger legend. But he certainly delivers numbers all the way through. Okay, Albert Gott, all alone in number 4. He's at 697. I think you said he would get to 700. I sure hope he does. He's got enough games to do it. That's for certain. I don't think there's anybody in America doesn't want to see him get that magic 700 number next to his name.
Yeah, there's no question. And, every time they interview him, he is so humble and he truly walks this walk. He's all about the team. He's all about doing whatever he can do to contribute to get the team in the playoffs and make them a deep run. And, everybody talks about what the Dodgers have done, and it's remarkable and hadn't happened in a long time. Their run differential, we talked off the air, is just crazy. And they are probably the best team in the big leagues. And but you never can count teams like the Cardinals out of it, much like last year, the Dodgers were better than the Braves on paper and going into the playoffs, and look what the Braves did. So I honestly think the National League divisional playoffs and who comes out of that is going to be probably more exciting to watch than the American League side of things. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't count the Cardinals out. I just wouldn't. They're playing such good baseball right now, and they play much like we've discussed as well on the show is, they play a complete game. They pitch it. They play great defense. They've got timely hitting. They've got the ability to put balls in play on a consistent basis. So their lineup's not solely made up on guys trying to hit 3-run home runs. Whereas the Yankees, on the other hand, are a little bit different story, and I think that's why they've struggled at times over since the All-Star break.
Since July, really August, the beginning of August, Albert Pujols has played unbelievably well. I just watched Tom Brady actually dominate kind of a football game at the age of 45. I don't even think Albert's near 45. What is he, 41, 42? You never know, though, because I'm not sure he was accurate with his original date of birth when he first got to the big leagues. But the point is, he's playing so well. If they continue to go, if you were the Cardinals and it cost you a couple of million a year, you could really make him like a player coach. Would you bring him back?
There's no question I'd bring him back. Obviously he's got to want to come back. And I think unless he's really, laid low and quiet about what his next chapter in his life and his career is going to be, I wouldn't name him. I wouldn't name him per se a player coach. He's already doing it. He doesn't need a title, and I don't think they should take anything away from Marmol, the young manager that they've got that's done such a great job. But there's no doubt in my mind that I guarantee you the players in the clubhouse, they would all want him back. And I think Wainwright comes back if Albert comes back. Yachty's going to retire. I don't know how he's done it over the years, as many years as he's done it, catching and squatting down as much as heck, I can't squat down right now without struggling to get back up. Right. I can't imagine what his knees feel like, but there's no doubt in my mind I would bring him back because it's not going to affect payroll. I can assure you that.
Well, I hope and think he's going to get to 700, so that carrot's not going to be out there. But just because he's been so productive and such a positive in the locker room, I'm kind of hoping he comes back. All right, you mentioned the Dodgers. After last night's game, the Dodgers' run differential is plus 316. There's only 3 teams, all Yankees teams, that have ever been over 300. The 27 Yankees, by many considered the greatest baseball team of all time, they did it. The 34 Yankees, the 39 Yankees, all were over 300 plus run differential. That means you've scored, at this point, 316 more runs than your opposition. We're seeing an incredible super team here. I mean, it's almost to the point where if they don't win this World Series, that's a disappointment.
Oh, there's no doubt it's a disappointment. If you follow the Dodgers, last night Mookie played second base, and people are probably scratching their head on why are they doing that. I think what's happening is the front office and Dave Roberts are trying to figure out what is going to be their best lineup and how it matches up with the likes of the Braves or the Mets, depending on who wins that side of things. Because Mookie's ability to play multiple positions is definitely a huge asset for the Dodgers. And I think that's what they're doing. He made a great play last night, as if he played it, his whole life, which he did prior to going into AAA with the Red Sox before they moved him to the outfield. But so, yeah, I mean, I would agree, Wolo, that it's going to be a disappointment if the Dodgers don't win this thing.
All right, last thing. Major League Baseball's union, and the players had to agree with this, have now elected to partake in unionizing minor league baseball, which has been in need of representation pretty much forever. These guys make somewhere between, 11,000 to like 17,000 for the best AAA guy, but most of the time it's around 11 grand. It's impossible to live on. I know they tried to help by providing some housing now in some of the cities, but this was needed. What's your take? You were a minor leaguer. What's your take?
Well, I think there's no doubt it's been long needed, and when you look at the number of hours that the minor league players put in, it's probably less than minimum wage because it's a ton of hours. It's a taxing deal. But in the same regard, you're only working 6 months out of the year. I guess if I had one concern is that over the years that when the major league union has had negotiations with ownerships, when it's come up for the collective bargaining agreement, they've always conceded things for the minor leaguers, whether it's how many years they have before they become a minor league free agent, they've always conceded things, that has affected the minor leagues to give up to enhance the major league's contract with the union or with the owners. So hopefully they'll be able to separate that to where they're really truly looking out for the minor league players. But there's no doubt that that they've got to increase the payroll for minor league players, and really AAA guys or guys that are in AA that have been on the 40-man or that are guys that have had a cup of coffee in the big leagues come down. They're making a substantial living, but the majority of the minor leaguers, like you said, are not making very much money at all.
Tim, we thank you as always, and I guess we'll really be talking playoffs and maybe some more historic marks when we chat next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thanks, Wolo.
Thank you. That is Tim Doolin, our man on baseball. There's so many things that you can bet on. Baseball playoffs coming up, that's for sure. NFL, you want a sports book that you can trust, that has integrity, longevity, like 28 years with the National Football League. And part of it is you want to know when you put the money out there that you're going to get paid. And not only do they have all the big leagues, but I've got a sports book for you, betus.com, that does it all. Not just NFL, NBA, MLB, but other great things like MMA and golf and European slots, live dealers waiting for you at the tables. It's really easy to sign up. You go to betus.com or you can call 1-800-79-BET-US, 1-800-79-BET-US or betus.com. Now, if you do that, you have to mention the promo code SPORTS56Radio. Sports56 Radio. This is the best. They'll pay off. They've been around forever. They're big league. BetUS, where the game begins. And our title sponsor, as you all know by now, that would be Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, right at the corner of Craft Road, first exit in Mississippi and Highway 78. That's Lamar in Memphis. And it's really simple. They have this record of customer retention. Well, one, they got this great product, Hyundai and Genesis. Doesn't get better than those. They'll last, I don't know how many 100,000 miles, 300, 200. It's all in. It's great. It's a great product, a great ride, but they take care of you there. For instance, a lot of dealerships now, laws of supply and demand, charge an over sticker price for brand new cars. That doesn't happen with Homer. You never pay more than sticker price at Homer Skelton Hyundai. We pause for just a second. Guess who's back? Jeff Moore in the house. He comes your way in a minute.
Let former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Going to set a little new history here. I don't think I've had a guest in studio since COVID, but I have to see Jeff Moore. So he is in. I'll let you know he is brought to you in part by our newest client. We're so happy to have AmeriCare Senior Living with 3 great residences that make a difference. In Memphis, it's South Breeze. That's at Hacks Cross. In Collierville, Schilling Gardens. And in Olive Branch, the beautiful Olive Grove Terrace. These places are amazing. Assisted living, memory care, whatever you may need. And the key to all of this is it really matters where you live. Everybody talks about aging there, vitamins, eating vegetables. It's as important about spending time with friends to have a purpose when you get up each morning, and they make sure that happens at South Breeze, Schilling Gardens, and Olive Grove Terrace. It's an intimate community, easy to make friends. They got lots of fun activities. You will share good company at mealtimes. You will feel right at home. Not only are these the ingredients for healthy aging, they're part of something extra. AmeriCare's proactive approach to wellness. Now, what does that mean? They will work hard to keep you healthy and strong so you can keep doing what you love. That will give you purpose. That keeps you going. These are the places of the future and the present. They are terrific. The AmeriCare's South Breeze, Schilling Gardens, and Olive Grove Terrace. Go see them. You will like what you see. So good to see you, Jeff Moore.
Well, my pleasure.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
What's your quick impression here? I started the show complaining about time management. I thought Nathaniel Hackett blew last night's game. Would you have gone with a 64-yard field goal or with the quarterback you just paid $265 million to move your offense?
Yeah, I mean, if you could get a little closer, you definitely want to try to get closer for a field goal. It's tough in that situation with time running out. I love the performance of Russell Wilson. I love the performance of Geno Smith. I thought it was a great game. I was really so impressed by the level of competition this weekend, especially given the fact that most of your veterans didn't play a lot in the preseason.
Yeah, and you're thinking on that, like 12 penalties last night for Denver. Missed tackles, well, that always happens.
Yeah.
It seems early, but especially if you didn't play. I know we used to say shouldn't have any preseason, and they went to 3 games instead of 4. Do you think the product has suffered because of that?
It's too early to tell. I'd like to give it about 4 games in, but I do believe very strongly that veterans need live reps during the preseason to prepare for the contact and the speed and so forth of the regular season. And I understand, you want to minimize injury, but, it's a game that's going to happen. You can have injury in a preseason game. You can have injury in a playoff game. It's going to happen. It's a violent sport. I would like to see the veterans play at least 3 quarters of maybe the last game to get ready for that. And again, I think four games in, I'll be able to better have an assessment of whether it's hurt or helped. I know I like the fact that you got preseason, 3 games, and then you got that week off before you actually start playing. I thought that was a good
It's funny to me when I talk to former players. You played for the Rams, of course, Aval, and Russell Copeland, who's on with us on Thursdays.
Yeah.
they were all of the opinion you should still play 4 exhibition games and some more snaps for the veterans. But if you talk about today's current players and all these so-called experts like me, we're going, if you're going to play a game where you can get injured, you might as well make it a regular season game.
Right.
And I got a feeling we're going to end up at 18 regular season and only 2 exhibition games. It's going to go the other way.
I like the 17-3. Again, I think it's important before you get into live play that the guys get some snaps in preseason.
Biggest surprise was it Seattle, which was one of the worst teams in the preseason. The Texans were really good. The Giants were really good. The Bears were really good in preseason. And look at this. The Giants win. They knock off the Titans of all teams. The Bears beat San Francisco in a monsoon. What was your biggest surprise?
The biggest surprise for me was the Giants beating the Titans. And I guess because of the way that they won, I was delighted to see Saquon, the old Saquon, come back. He was fantastic.
Yards, man.
I thought it was contested game, but the thing I liked the most was the coach polling the defensive guys before they got down there and said, "Look, we're going to go for 2. Are you up?" And the guy said, "Hey, let's go for the win versus the 2." Right. I love that, and especially for a team that's trying to change the culture. I thought it was brilliant.
I thought it showed a lot of chutzpah from a first-year coach in Dalbo. Dayball. That's how much I know about him. I mean, he's brand new. To go for 2, he said he asked his team, and they wanted to go for it, and he thought, okay, they got confidence. I got confidence in them, and I'll tell you what, you mentioned Saquon Barkley. He makes that play.
He does.
Because what it is a little shovel pass inside, and there's 2 guys right there, and somehow he gets around them, and then he knocks a guy over to get in the end zone.
Man, this guy was unbelievable. I loved it so much because he's one of my favorite running backs. And to just see him play so well, and I thought their quarterback played well. I thought
Jones.
Daniel played well. This is a team that's trying to change the culture, and it takes that kind of gutsy move by your head coach and that kind of play by your best player to kind of move you in that direction.
Dak Prescott news today that they're not going to put him on the IR. He's going to have surgery, and they think he could be back within 4 weeks. I would trade for Jimmy G myself if I were the Cowboys right now. I'm not 100% certain that Dak Prescott is the guy that we saw a couple of years ago. I'm not sure he's overcome that ankle injury that he had. And, his offensive line didn't help him a whole lot. These Cowboys, I picked them to win the division. A lot of people have the Eagles. Based on what I've just seen, this is going to be a long year for Dallas.
He was playing horribly before he got hurt. I was really disappointed that the Cowboys would come out and lay an egg like that offensively, especially with their defense. I think they have a really good, one of the top defenses in the league. I like the Eagles better in that division to win it. I just think they're hungrier. I think they're younger. They just fly around, and they want it more. The Cowboys, I'm just not sure. They need a major just cultural breakup in that organization.
Well, the only thing you could do there would be to fire the owner.
Yeah, I mean, that I think is what is – and it's hard to really put a finger on it because they had a really good year last year. One of the best offensive teams in the league last year. But for them to come out and play the way they did, and I just don't know where Zeke's left the building. I just don't know what to say about him. So I have zero confidence in the Cowboys getting second or third place in that division now.
Who are your favorites?
I like the Eagles in that division. I like Minnesota in the North. I like the way they spanked the Packers. I think they sent a message. I love their new coach from the Sean McVay tree. I think he's going to he seems to really connect with his players. And there's talk.
It's so funny that Sean McVay has a tree. I mean, he's too young to have a tree.
Isn't he? The youngest guy in the league. But this guy, you hear talk about how their previous coach was just really uptight and very structured, and this guy just really believes in connecting with his players, find out what they do best. That's going to go a long way with changing the culture in Minnesota. And they were already good and respectable with a lot of good athletes. I think they're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah. Do you think there's trouble in Packerland? There was a play fairly early in the game where a guy was wide open, might have been a touchdown, and Rodgers put it on the money, and the guy just dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And then Rodgers was really PO'd.
Yeah.
Is there a chemistry issue, you think, on that team?
I don't think so. I think they just got young players that just got to learn how to play in big moments, in big games with a great quarterback. I love that Aaron gets upset when the receivers drop the ball. I love that he gets on his offensive lineman. He has to be Aaron Rodgers. He can't change. The receivers just got to step up, and I think they will. I think they're going to be a good team. I just like Minnesota better in that division.
How about the AFC? Kansas City looked unstoppable. Mahomes is Mahomes.
So I'm really in a quandary about the AFC West because I really like Kansas City. I like San Diego. I like the Raiders. I like Denver. But my favorite by a razor edge right now is the Chargers.
I was wondering, where were they?
Yeah. The Chargers, to me, with Khalil Mack on that defense, and they were already offensively very, very good. They're going to be a tough team. And I think their coaches learned a lot by all that going for the fourth down last year. He learned his lesson. I think they're going to be a lot more intelligent the way they approach the game. And by the time they get to the playoffs, I mean, they'll be battle-tested because they have the best division.
I was just going to say, I think you've mentioned every AFC West team.
Yeah. I mean, those quarterbacks in that division are unbelievable.
You know, LA's unbelievable. You think about it, 5 years ago, whatever it was, they had no NFL team.
Right.
Now they got the defending Super Bowl champs, your former team, the LA Rams.
Yeah.
And they got the Chargers. You just said they could win the West.
Yeah.
Are people coming to the games in SoFi?
They are. They're having a big celebration. I mean, it's an event. And because LA probably is not considered as big a sports town as they are because there's so many other things to do. They just needed a winner, and I think that fans will come out and support the Rams and the Chargers.
We haven't had a repeat Super Bowl champ since the New England Patriots several years ago. Can the Rams, your team, can they repeat?
No. That was the other disappointment for me of the weekend is how horrible they looked when they came out against Buffalo. Now, Buffalo, to me, I picked them to win it all.
Team. Okay.
I picked them to win it all. They dominated the Rams without blitz. I mean, their defense puts pressure. They didn't even have to pressure Matthew Stafford. Matthew looked very indecisive. I was really surprised that they didn't run the ball better. They're going to have a tough year because, they're Super Bowl champs, so everybody's going to come out and play them tough.
Who's the best quarterback in the NFL now?
I still think it's Aaron Rodgers, but the young guns, man, Patrick Mahomes.
What about Josh Allen?
Josh Allen is so. If I were to rank those three to me are the top three, and of course, we know Brady's in a different category, but right. I'm talking about just current guys right now. Aaron Rodgers. And Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen, to me, are the top three quarterbacks in the league. But there are a lot of great quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson is not far behind. It's going to be a great year for quarterbacking. That's for sure.
No, I totally agree with that. And I love Buffalo. I thought they were really great last year. And I think we're going to see a repeat of that. What would you do if you were the Niners with Jimmy G? Here's another guy. He's 35-16, 4-2 in the playoffs, gets no credit.
Yeah.
Everybody says, it was just the Shanahan system and all this other stuff. And now they've gone with Trey Lance, who now it was a monsoon in Chicago, but he did not look to me to be a great quarterback. He can run. But is he a great thrower? Why is there such disrespect for Jimmy G, and where will he end up?
So I think he'll stay with the 49ers this season. But I think the thing that gets missed when we talk about Jimmy G is what you don't see off the field, in practices, in meetings. And all of that gets factored into the coach's decision to go all in with Trey Lance. And, of course, they kept Jimmy G as insurance. But I think –
Well, they say they couldn't trade him. Nobody wanted him.
Well, nobody wanted him at that price tag, obviously.
Right.
But I think when you get Trey Lance on a dry field, you're going to see a different player. This guy can – he can play. And this coaching staff, when they had to really make a tough decision, they were all in on Trey Lance. I mean, it wasn't any question. So he's going to be fine. I think they've got a good insurance policy. I don't see them trading Jimmy G now because, most teams are he'd have to start from scratch wherever he went. And that's a challenge for a quarterback. I think they're going to be fine. I think Trey Lance is going to be fine. And I think they got a good chance of winning that division. I think the Rams are just going to slip.
Wow. All right, last thing, gratuitous question about my Bears.
Of course.
Got to ask that. Is it fool's gold? Look, they haven't lost a game. I mean, they beat the heck out of Seattle in an exhibition game. Now that's 2s and 2s
right.
for the most part. But then to surprise the Niners the way they did, I don't know how much of that was weather. I don't know if Justin Fields is starting to come along. I don't know if the line is better. I know the defense is pretty darn good even without Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Is this fool's gold for me? Am I going to end up heartbroken, or are the Bears going to be in the race in the NFC North?
I like the Bears to come in second. I think they're going to
really?
I think that the culture is changing.
So you're saying the Packers are going down because you got the Vikes in that division.
The Packers are going down.
Oh, I want to see that.
I like Justin Fields as a leader. As a quarterback, I think that the game appears at least so far. He seems to really be in control. I like the offense they're running.
Here's what I saw on Sunday that I've not seen in years with the Chicago Bears. Seriously. How much they like each other.
Oh, my goodness.
I've not seen a team in the NFL do what they did. After the game, choreographed, he took a knee, and they all went diving in that wet end zone. And then the whole bench followed and did the same thing. That is not something you see with pros all the time.
It isn't, and it speaks to culture. It speaks to teamwork. It speaks to togetherness. They're going to be a tough bunch to deal with this year. I really believe that.
Oh, I love it when you talk to me that way. Your volunteers under Josh Heupel, I think, are going to be pretty good.
Dangerous.
Are you excited about them?
Very excited about this team. I love how aggressive they are offensively. And defensively, they've taken a step forward. I think they're going to be competitive, and they'll get some really good tests here pretty soon.
Jeff Moore, it's so good to have you back. You're our first guest for my show in studio since COVID. Couldn't have asked for a better one. Thank you. We appreciate it. That is Jeff Moore. He's brought to you in part by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Ken knows it's a big decision that you're making. You are committing to a big financial thing with whether you're building from scratch or you're going to renovate. Renovation with innovation. He brings all those new amenities. He works closely with his clients, and you're going to be sure to get exactly what you should expect. Quality construction, on time, on budget. 2 generations, Ken and his dad, have built these palaces or renovated palaces all throughout the Memphis area. Go to kengarland.com. and see what I'm talking about. Then call 751-1632 and talk to him. He's fun to chat with. He sees little details, big picture, all at once. A rare guy. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. We pause for a second. When we come back, it's time to talk hoops. Memphis Tigers with the CA's beat writer, Jason Munz. He comes your way in just a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
117 Prime is Memphis's premier downtown dining destination. But don't just take our word for it. Here are some of the things customers have had to say about 117 Prime. Stumbled onto this gym by chance and did not regret my decision. We didn't have a reservation, so we opted to sit at the bar. Even with this, the service was top-notch to that you'd expect tableside. And this from somebody else. The food was absolutely amazing. And yet another, I was focused on taking my time and enjoying every bite, and this was the best place for that. They have the best happy hour in town. The menu is solid with fair prices. Join these and many other people that have experienced the best meal in town.
Tiger fans, football season is here, and we want you to catch all the action. For as low as $99, you can see all 7 home games as your Tigers continue their bowl streak and welcome foes such as Arkansas State, UCF, and Houston to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. For tickets, visit GoTigersGoTix.com or call 901-678-2331 today. Go Tigers Go!
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Always one of my favorite times of the week because we could talk Tiger College hoops all the time. The beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, our good friend Jason Munns, joins us now. It came out, Jason, that the field for Maui in 2024. So the Tigers are in Orlando this year. They're in the Bahamas. I think it's at Atlantis the next year. And then here's who will be in Maui. North Carolina, UConn. Oh, can't wait to see those guys again. And their crazy coach, Hurley. Michigan State, Iowa State, Colorado, Dayton, Memphis, and, of course, Chaminade, always the host school. That's a pretty good lineup, huh?
It is. It really is. UConn's on there. Iowa State, who Memphis saw, I believe it was last year up in Brooklyn. I think they saw Dayton back in the NIT, and so some familiar opponents there, somewhat familiar opponents there. But yeah, having a chance to see North Carolina and Michigan State potentially down in Hawaii. Yeah, that's a really, really good field.
Well, if they're announcing that field now, the Atlantis field must be out. I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do you have any idea who is in that field?
I want to say, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I do believe that field has been announced. I think Duke is in it. I'm almost positive Duke is in it. And there's some other pretty big names. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I'm in one season at a time.
I understand. I couldn't believe that they already took the 2024 Maui, but Atlantis in 2023. We'll get JMO on the docket. In the meantime, I got to ask you. You were there, I'm pretty sure, for Penny Hardaway's a basic keynote speech for the Southern Heritage Classic, which was at the beautiful Renaissance Convention Center. And from anybody who I've talked to that might have heard it, they just said he was amazing. Give me your take.
Yeah, he was. It was almost 30 minutes. It was about 26, 27 minutes. And, that's the thing about Penny is he is an incredibly good, you put him in front of people, you put him in front of a crowd, you put him in a one-on-one situation with people, and he's very, very good. He rarely ever disappoints. And this was another example of that. I mean, he some of the big takeaways for me were just some of the things that he said that he told me later after the speech that he had never told anybody before, at least in a public setting. Things I had never heard this before. Maybe you've heard it, but he did not make his 7th grade team.
I never knew that one.
Yeah. Said he didn't. He tried out for his 7th grade team, didn't make it. Went to the coach and asked, hey, what gives? And the guy said, you weren't good enough. And he said, well, okay, I'd still like to be part of the team. And so he was made the water boy.
Can you imagine that? I mean, I never knew that part. He was the water boy.
Right.
That didn't last long, though.
No, I said he was 5'6" in the 7th grade. He shot up to 5'9" in the 8th grade, made the team, shot up to 6'2" as a freshman, and obviously was off to the races at that point. But
I saw him as a freshman because I went to see Elliot Perry. And he wore number 25 in those days. And we all went to see Elliot Perry, who had committed to Memphis. And, I mean, every time Treadwell played, the gym was packed. And by the very first time we saw this guy, we went, who the heck is Anthony? Nobody knew he was Penny. Who's number 25? The skinny kid. He was at least 6'2" already. Skinny kid and could jump out of the gym, long arms, great vision, unbelievable timing. And we were going, I know Elliot's good, but who's this kid?
Yeah, you know what's so funny is I was doing one of those oral history projects, and I was going through some pretty deep archives, and I was like, while I'm doing this, I'm going to try and find the first mention of Penny Hardaway in the Commercial Appeal.
Yeah.
And so I was going back and I was looking through line scores, the whole thing. And I found as the further and further back I went, the more spelling variations we got of his first name. Right. It was really, really entertaining. I think I stopped at like 6. It was really, really an entertaining task. But no, he talked about how his mother left him with his grandmother when he was 5 years old to pursue a career as a singer.
Right.
And he this is the thing is he would have the audience laughing at one point, and then he broke down talking about Desmond Merriweather a little while later. He said that from about the time he was 5 years old to the time he was 10 years old, every car that drove by on his street at his grandmother's house, he thought was his mother.
Wow.
And it was just a really, really, really good speech. But toward the end, he kind of brought it all back to why he came back to Memphis and why he's doing what he's doing. Why he decided to get back into coaching, and he wanted to. Desmond Merriweather had asked him to help him, and he wanted to help his sick friend, and then he also wanted to help the younger, the younger kids in the Memphis area, and that's when he kind of got into the whole thing about really addressing the James Wiseman TSSAA stuff for the first time publicly. He made mention of the fact that you got these people who are out here trying to judge me, trying to say that I did, that I came back for monetary gain and things like that. And, that's when he kind of gave the quote about, I did it all from the heart. And, it was a really, really,
and the sad statement, Jason, where he says, and now those people trying to do the right thing, now those people are, down on me. And that, to me, is a very sad statement. And I've often wondered if he ever says to himself, when he's getting ripped on message boards or whatever, calling him cheater and unethical and things of that nature, if he says, why am I doing this? I'm certainly, the next 5 generations of Hardaway are staked. He doesn't do it for the money. He could live anywhere he wants to. He could play golf. He's a great golfer whenever he wants to, anywhere he wants to. How much longer does he want to put up with this? And we know that the IARP sentencing is coming, and almost certainly from everybody that you see speculate, and I don't know, but I have to look at those and say they must know something, say that there's going to be a suspension in there of him.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think that would, of all the penalties that could possibly come down, I think that's probably the one that everyone could universally agree on, that it's going to be some part of it. Is going to be a suspension. But, I'm starting to wonder if when things like this happen, you mentioned the people talking down on him on message boards and social media, and you mentioned, the TSSAA decision, the ruling coming down, like stripping all the wins and taking away the gold ball and all that stuff. I wonder if that doesn't, a normal person or the average person might say to themselves, well, this isn't worth it. Like I got plenty of other things I can do.
Right.
I don't have to deal with all this. I wonder if that doesn't strengthen his resolve. I wonder if that doesn't
Maybe
make
it
him
does.
go the other way.
That competitive side in him, that could bring that out. That's a great point.
Yeah, like that's kind of the vibe that I get. I haven't asked him that directly, but it almost feels like the harder things get, the harder he's gonna fight.
Well, I know I'm happy he's here, and for a lot of different reasons. I just happen to like the guy. I really do.
Right.
And
Yep.
I think he's a much better coach than people give him credit for. We know he's a great recruiter, which gets me recruiting for 23, even 24. I know coaches are out on the road. They're done for this year, but they're looking toward the future, and they're back to looking at high school players, right?
Yeah, they are. That seems to be the predominant thing that they're looking at. They just had he's a top 100 guy, point guard, Jalen Lowe, who was in for a visit, not this past weekend, but the one before it. The weekend before that, they had a 2023 junior college guy. They call him Big O. His name's Okechukwu Okiki. He plays at Tallahassee Community College.
So wait. We have a KO. We could have an OK?
Yes.
KO
yes.
to OK?
KO, and they call him Big O. So, yeah, it's going to be it could be that. And they actually, when I talked to Big O after his visit, and he said that I asked him, who did you connect really well with anybody on the team while you were here? And he said, yeah, KO. So, because they're both Nigerian.
Wow.
So,
yeah. You
so
better
anyway.
be pretty good if you call yourself the Big O.
Yeah.
Because that's Oscar Robertson. I thought he had that patented.
Yes, you better. You're right. But yeah, no, I think they've really I think they don't have any commitments obviously for the class of 23, but I do think that they feel pretty good about where they are. They're really pushing hard on this another point guard. His name is Dre Gibbs Lawhorn. He's from Indiana. He was a former Purdue commit, decommitted. Is coming to visit Memphis in the next couple of weekends. They were in to visit him this past weekend. Most of the staff went on the road to recruit. He was one of the ones they went and saw. So yeah, it's I would be very surprised if we don't start getting some 23 commitments here in the next week or two.
That'll be fun. By the way, here's the field for Atlantis. North Carolina, so Memphis could play North Carolina in 2 consecutive years because they're going to be in Maui too. Nova, Michigan, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Stanford, and Northern Iowa. That field's better than the one in Maui.
Yeah, it is.
That's crazy.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I don't know where I got Duke from, but yeah, it's maybe Duke's in Orlando. I don't know. Anyway,
Maybe it is.
I forget, but
we're gonna know soon. I can tell you that.
Yes, we will.
My friend, thank you much. We appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right. Thanks, Wolo.
That is Jason Munz. What a job he does with the commercial appeal. He's brought to you by Memphis Golf. I went and played Audubon yesterday. Whew, great condition. But play it soon because October 31st, it's closing. They may extend it like to the weekend, like November 2nd or 3rd. But right now, Halloween, that's the last day. Oh, that's so sad. But wait till you see the plans. 3 lakes on the course, 7,300 yards of championship golf. There'll be a little 6-hole par 3 executive course out by the new tennis courts that are going up over there on Southern. It's going to be amazing. Look, I can't wait to see the new Pine Hill. I've already seen the new Overton. I've seen the new greens at Fox Meadows. Ali does such a good job over there. So does Alan, their superintendent. If you have not played or will in the future, you'll be so surprised and pleased with how good City Golf is. The guys that run City Golf now, they know in this city it's an amenity. What a job they are doing. Please go check it out. You'll love Memphis City Golf. Johnny Radio comes your way in just a minute.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business